After a sweet visit with Eberhard, we caught a train from Zurich to Munich, where we planned the next stop of our Europe trip to see my friend Simon at Zeppelin Cat. And when I say Zeppelin, you're probably thinking, that Zeppelin? Exactly. That's the Zeppelin I'm thinking. Founded in 1908 by Ferdinand Graf von Zeppelin, the company eventually became famous for its airships in World War II. But post-World War II, they had to apply their technological prowess to other things like trucks and heavy equipment. So in the 1950s, during Reconstruction, they became Caterpillar's official dealer in Germany. I initially visited Zeppelin a few years ago, and we checked out a marble mine, an underground potash mine, and various construction projects. But in this video, we're focused exclusively on German quarrying, even checking out a remote operation. So let's make some rocks. Right below us is a Caterpillar 992, an amazing machine. We'll get to that in a moment. We're up above, standing on top of this bench. It's a 21-meter high bench. The benches are quite high. We're starting with the blasting. There's 6 holes here, each one 22 meters high because you need an extra meter so that you can keep your floor nice and tidy. 6 holes, each one will get about 100 kilograms of explosives. I asked why only 6 holes because that's not a very big blast. And she said it's because this material is very hard to handle when wet. They do the blasting themselves so they can shoot pretty much every day. When there's rain coming in like there is today, they don't want to blast more than that loader can load and handle in a day, day and a half. So this shot, once it goes off, that loader will have about a day, day and a half of digging. And as they go and as the weather changes, they just keep blasting as they need the material, which is quite unique. Typically in a quarry application, you open up a huge area, do a massive shot so you have lots to dig, but they don't want to do that here. They just want to blast whatever they can dig at that moment. There's a little bit of a language barrier here, but what I've learned as he's loading this hole, they're using the explosive sausages, which is that high explosive, and then they also have the AMFO. They don't need all that much here because the rock is already quite fractured. So they're not necessarily blowing the rock apart. They're just pushing it out and loosening it up a little bit. This hole is really deep, 22 meters. That's a really, really deep hole. And so you can see he's putting some explosives in there, and then he's using some of the drill cuttings to give himself a little bit of room. More explosives, a little bit of room. So it's like he's baking an explosive cake. You have to get your layers just right so that you just disperse your energy through the face. While the blasting team set up the shot, we headed to the lower level to check out the 992 loader. I asked why they're running a 992 and 1 truck, and they said that's what's most efficient. It's a big face, there's big rock, so they need a big machine. A 988's a little too small, even a 990's a little too small. So that 992 is needed just for the horsepower, the muscle to get through this material. And then they're only loading 1 truck because that's all they need to feed the plant. If they were running a 988, if they could run it, they would need 2 trucks, and it would actually be less efficient than running that big machine in just 1 truck. So it's not always about just non-stop production. It's about feeding the plant with what it needs. And right now, we only need this 992 and that 1 truck. 992 bucket. You'll notice most 992 buckets in rock applications are really built up, tons of wear steel, big teeth, guarding all over. This bucket has none of that. It's just a serrated edge across. I asked why. They said it's because this rock is very soft So this bucket will essentially see no wear over time. And because of that, they wanted to get rid of the wear steel to make it lighter, to hold more material. And then this serrated edge allows them to get into the rock a little bit easier and to clean the floor a lot more effectively.
We got the call that the shot was ready, so we quickly headed to the vantage point for the best view.
We are at the crusher. The crusher, it's probably just a few hundred meters to the face. It's a really short haul, which is why they just have that one truck running back and forth. That truck will dump right here any moment now. But we also have this 988 XE. It's doing a little bit of load and carry, and it's managing some of the material around this plant. That is a key piece of equipment, that XE, because it's electric drive, which lowers the fuel consumption. That's a big deal here in Germany. Fuel is a lot more expensive than it is in the United States. So the less fuel they can burn, the more money the operation makes, which is why an electric drive loader like that is key. The load and carry is similar to the 992. You're loading the material with that bucket, but then you're carrying it. You're not putting into a truck to haul it. You're grabbing it, and then you're taking it to wherever it needs to go, sometimes longer distances, like throwing it into that crusher. This is the plant, so the truck, the loaders dump into that crusher. It crushes it, making those rocks smaller, and then those small rocks end up here. These are the shaker decks. The one thing to note, the big difference here in Germany, is that this plant is enclosed. This is probably the first closed-in aggregate plant I've seen, and it's for two primary reasons, for noise and for dust. If you have everything within a building, you don't have to worry about it as much from the outside. So we are way up right now. This is a massive building. Everything to make the aggregate they're making here is within the building I'm standing in. This is where the process ends at this operation. When a truck comes in, that truck needs a very specific kind of aggregate of mix. Everything is specific here, not just concrete, but road base. Every project needs a very specific kind of road base. So what's happening here is when that truck comes in, he specifies what kind of base or material he needs, and then this plant automatically makes just enough material in that truck via these conveyor belts here. And once he's loaded, he's off to the project. Thanks to the folks at Barnrather Durline. Amazing company, great people. We're going to the next one. We'll see you there. We just drove a few hours to Stuttgart or outside of Stuttgart. We just filled our bellies with lots of German sausage, and now we're here at Lukas Glaser's quarry. We are not gonna get necessarily into the quarrying operation, but instead two unique pieces of equipment that they have here. The quarrying operation is somewhat straightforward. We've got a Cat 990 loading 775 trucks. They're hauling up to a crusher. The crusher is then feeding a plant similar to the one we saw this morning. But this is the unique part of this operation. Every quarry has a fixed footprint, and every quarry has something called highwalls. Highwalls are the walls of rock that are exposed as the quarry goes down. Now, typically the quarry steps down further and further to leave the high walls only a certain distance high. So as the quarry gets deeper, the footprint of the quarry gets smaller and smaller and smaller as it goes down into the hole. But that leaves a lot of rock inaccessible. So here they've kept the high walls absolutely extraordinarily high, straight up and down, because the rock allows them to do so. So that is about 70 meters of good rock with about 30 meters of waste material on top of it. That's a 100-meter high wall total. The problem with a 100-meter high wall is that it's dangerous to work underneath it. Rocks could potentially roll off that wall at any time and smack anybody down below if they're walking around, or if they're in equipment. So to keep everybody safe, Lukas Glaser has talked to Zeppelin and they've brought in Cat Command. We've explained this technology in a different video that we can link right here from Australia, but this is a real-world application. We have a D6 XE Cat Command, and then we have the world's first 395 excavator Cat Command. That excavator behind me that's running has no one in it. If there's no operator in that excavator, where is the operator? The operator is in this box here, the Cat Command Digitale Schaltenzentrale. So let's go inside and check out this remote operator station in person. Take our boots off. We're in the command center here. There's carpet, which is quite nice, feels very nice. There's high wall themed graphics on the walls. We've got mood lighting all the way around, a window over there, air conditioning. It's as comfortable as my bedroom is. This has high-speed internet so that we have a good internet connection to the machines working on site here. And then there's a video feed, there's a camera, I'm assuming on top of this building. Camera on top of this building showing us the top feed, and then the bottom screen is all of the cameras on the machine itself, and then the very bottom screen is the control panel, what you would be seeing if you were inside of the machine. The operator, exact same setup that he has in the cab. We've got foot pedals in front to run the tracks back and forth, and then we have two joysticks to swing the machine and control stick, boom, bucket, exactly like you'd control any other excavator.
Now that we've seen the command center, let's head down into the pit to check out the 395.
We're down in the pit. We can get this close on foot because we're not next to the high wall. They're just doing this for demonstration purposes, but typically this machine would be a lot closer underneath that high wall to get in there without exposing a person to those potentially falling rocks. We know that is under the control of the Cat Command chair center there because it has the blinking blue light on it. And then the D6 that we were just running via Cat Command is above us working in the fill area, but it has a solid green light on it, meaning there is someone in that machine using it like a typical dozer because he's off that face a little bit. And I just want to say the Australia visit with WestTrack was pretty cool. It was extraordinary, but it was a artificial application. This is a real world application. This is not to replace day-to-day operators. This is to put machines into potentially hazardous areas where it makes financial sense to do so, to extract this rock from a place a person couldn't go. It's for very specific applications like this, so this is fun to see. Now that we've changed batteries, we're gonna walk around this machine. First, Cat Command, remote control, 395 excavator in the world here in Germany. We've got a big old bucket. This is a 6-meter bucket. And above the bucket, what the heck is that? That is a cylinder guard. As this is working underneath that high wall, if a rock were to fall down, it's gonna hit that cylinder guard, protecting the cylinder underneath, which is the real expensive bit. That's a key piece of kit. Continuing on to the cab, those cameras that we saw inside are mounted on this machine. That is one of them right there. So that is the camera, obviously facing down into the bucket. That's the one you'll probably be looking at most, but there's other around the machine, either side and in the back for every angle imaginable. Then in the back of the machine, we've got those additional cameras I referenced earlier. We have a white light that will be on while the machine is remote for visibility and for others to know that that machine is remote. We've got antennas on the back that connect this machine to that remote command center. And then we have the blinky lights of different colors, which are additional indication as to if this machine is safe to approach, if this machine has somebody in it, or if this machine is unmanned and under remote operation. I had fun today checking out these 2 German quarries. I hope you enjoyed it as well. Special thank you to this quarry owner, Lukas Glaser, for having us out, and thank you to Zeppelin Caterpillar for arranging these visits. They can speak German, I can't, so it's very helpful to have them here and organize these visits to see their latest and greatest. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you next time. Stay dirty.